What's up, everybody? I've got a guest here with me all the way from Alaska.
How's it going?
Yeah, he wanted to come somewhere that's a little bit warmer. Those of you who don't know, some of you guys might actually know this is my buddy Tyler, Tyler West. He actually runs a laser company up in Alaska. What do you have? You have fiber lasers and...
Fiber laser, got a CO2, and I got a CO2 galvo.
Okay.
And a diode that I never really use.
I'm going to see if I can change... I'm probably just going to turn the noise gate off for this stream, so it'll actually pick us up. So yeah, he just wanted to... He's in here. He came in last night around like, well, I guess this morning, technically, around like 12:30 a.m. And then he's here all day and then flying out on at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So, but yeah, so welcome to this week's stream. I don't know if you guys noticed, we have a little new like thumbnail and stuff. I thought it was time for a refresh. The only updates I have that come to mind are we are getting ready to launch our new EasyPi R4s, which is, if my camera would focus, I think it's trying to focus on both of us. Come on, Sony. You can do it. There we go. We do have our new R4 kits. Why are you not focusing? Ah. There we go. So our new Pi 4, or R4 Plus, EasyPi R4 Plus. These are our new Pi kits. We got a power button here to actually safely shut down the printer. 2020 extrusion mount here to clip it on. And these are being made on our EasyFlex textured sheet, so they got nice surface finishes on them. And then these are rocking those new rock boards that came out, and this is running custom software that we built on top of Arbian to run Octoprint on. So inside the case here, we've got all the, oh my God, I think it's trying to focus on your face. This actually has an off-board Wi-Fi antenna, so the Wi-Fi signal on these is a lot better than a Pi 4. Again, the power button here to actually safely shut it down, and these are great. So these are going to be the new EasyPi kits that are coming out. So if you want to be able to control your printer through the network instead of having to run to your printer and put an SD card in, do time lapses, hook up a USB camera to it, that kind of stuff. That's all stuff you can do with them. And then these mounts are nice because you can just put on your extrusion and the board just unclips from it, or I should say the whole unit unclips from it, and then you can just put this back on and it snaps back in. I don't know why. I think the camera autofocus is off because it's trying to track faces. So, but yeah, so there we go. These are going to be coming out soon. My goal is to get these on the site this weekend. I do have a small quantity of boards. I was originally going to do a pre-order where we take a bunch of orders and then order a bunch of boards. I did just get a stack of the new control boards in here. These are going to be bundled with an Ethernet cable, power adapter, and be ready to set up and plug into your network. The Wi-Fi is not something we'll be pre-configuring on these because of how the board is, but these actually have a really nice utility that you can just connect into it, tell it which networks you're putting your password, and it'll connect, and we'll have documentation and video out on that. So yeah. So if you guys are new to this stream, we do these every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. You guys have to get to ask us questions about 3D printing. Us being today, usually it's just me. But we actually might be changing that up as well. We're getting some stuff set up on the back end to pull Tor and Peter in too. So we can kind of have like a Ask the Team Q&A. So maybe not every single one, but be able to pull in the other guys too to do streams with more than just myself. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and see what questions we have. So you guys need to post questions in here. I don't have a ton of them, so I'm gonna let you guys answer questions. I do have one other tangent to go off to talk about. Is have any of you guys played with the AI voice stuff? Because one of our guys one of our guys in our Discord server made one. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up on my phone. But it was pretty funny. Let me see if I can find it here. So while I'm doing this, make sure you post your questions in the chat because this stream doesn't work without questions. I don't really have anything to work on today. I'm keeping it light since Tyler's in town and want to be able to hang out after the stream. So try to find my file explorer here. Where the hell did I put that? But I think it was a Pulo. He made this. Oh, here we go. So this is, supposed to be my voice. So he pulled my voice from the streams. So we're gonna see how this is. Let's see.
Hi, this is Tim from TA3D bringing you an important announcement. As of today, we will no longer be selling upgrades for inexpensive Chinese printers. We have decided that Voron parts and kits are where the money is at, and we'll start selling those instead. The unified firmware site and GitHub will also be wiped clean and replaced with a fork of the Clipper GitHub. If you're upset about this change, fuck you. Dollar bill, y'all. Hi, this is Tim from T83D.
Oh, I was like, I got a kick out of that. It's not as good as some of the other ones. Like I made some with, yeah, it doesn't need more training. I made some with Joel Telling's voice, and it was really close. And then they have like ones of different politicians like Trump and Biden, and like, I don't know if you guys have been following like the memes and stuff, but I think we're gonna do some, you know, funny little like YouTube short videos about like Biden and Trump arguing over the BL Touch versus the Easy ABL. I think that'd be kind of funny. But yeah, like I had the same thing. I actually pulled some raw voice recordings from videos I've done in the past and did that for the voice training. And like sometimes it gets it perfect with my voice sample anyways. And then like my brother Doug's, I just pulled one clip from his YouTube video where he's doing like a tutorial. There's no background music, and it was eerily accurate. It was crazy. So if you guys want to play with that, the AI stuff's pretty fun. One thing I was thinking of though is if I have videos where I need voiceovers, if I can get the voice to like sound like mine, where you guys can't tell if you don't see me talking, I can literally write a script, have the AI do the voice, and then I can just edit the video, put the voiceover in, and then there's no multiple takes of me trying to, oh, I said this word wrong, or, you know, pronounce something incorrect. Like, I could actually see it being something useful for us in terms of doing like videos and stuff. So, but even just for like funny marketing videos, you know, like pulling like different celebrity voices, like, and making them, Nero 3D also did one where he had an AI generate a script and then also had AI read it with his voice, and it was pretty close. And there was one, I don't know if I have it. Like I said, post questions in the chat while we're going off on this tangent. I'm seeing if it's on my Chat GPT account, but I had asked it to write like a satirical review about the Ender 3 Neo, you know, and I gave it like a prompt somewhere along that way. I'm seeing if it's still here. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys how it works. So this is pretty cool. I'm gonna pipe in the audio from here. So I'm gonna put mine in here. And actually, I have Joel Telling's here. Let's see. How many of you guys know what Joel Telling sounds like? So you guys know what I sound like. My voice model is not that great, but I pulled just one clip from Joel Telling, and it did it really well. I gotta actually change my subscription here because I'm out of characters. So hang on, I gotta upgrade the subscription. Hang on. There we go. We're good. All right, so speech synthesis. So check this out. This is wild. I'm just moving windows around here so I can show you guys the AI stuff. But this is some powerful stuff. It's pretty cool. So let's see. Give me 1 second here. Just clearing out some old tabs here. All right. Let me switch to the main screen here. So I had this, I gave Chat GPT a writing prompt. It said, write me a satirical, sarcastic 3D printer review about the Creality Ender 3 Neo and how it's just the same, more of the same thing over and over again with flashy plastic parts slapped on it to make it seem like it's a new model. So this is the writing prompt it gave me, or the request it gave me. And now I'm going to have this read it in Joel Telling's voice. So let's see how that is. All right. I'm going to mute my mic so it doesn't pick up it over the speakers because I want us to hear it. So hang on.
Oh, the Creality Ender 3 Neo. What a marvel of modern technology, or so they say. It's just like the Ender 3, but with Neo in the name to make it sound like it's the newest and coolest thing on the market. But let's not be fooled by their flashy marketing tactics, shall we? First off, let's talk about the design. Sure, it has some flashy plastic parts slapped on it to make it seem like it's a new model, but it's really just the same old Ender 3 with a fancy paint job. I mean, who needs a sleek and modern design when you can have the same old clunky box that's been around for years? And don't even get me started on the print quality. I mean, sure, it's decent, but is it really worth all the hype? The Ender 3 Neo claims to have a better extruder and a larger build volume, but is that really enough to justify buying yet another 3D printer that's basically the same as the one you already have? Let's not forget about the customer service, or lack thereof. Creality has a reputation for having some of the worst customer service in the industry, and the Ender 3 Neo is no exception.
Okay, so I'm just going to pause it for a sec. I think it's hilarious that the AI even knows that Creality support is fucking garbage. Can we just appreciate that? And this voice model was literally just one video from Joel. I can't remember which one it was. I stripped the audio out, and that's what I used. It's crazy.
Good luck trying to get a hold of them if you have any issues with your printer. You're better off just throwing it in the trash and buying a new one. In conclusion, the Creality Ender 3. Neo is just more of the same old thing with a fancy new name and some plastic parts slapped on it. Don't be fooled by their marketing tactics. Save your money and stick with the 3D printer you already have. Or better yet, invest in a different brand with better customer service and actual improvements to their technology.
So, like, this is crazy. Like, this is the first response it gave me. And like if my voicemail sounded that good, like that sounded a lot like Joel. Like, if you didn't know that that was an AI reading that and writing that, I don't think you guys would be able to tell. What do you think? Like, if you just were listening to that, like, it does sound kind of monotonal, but it's almost like it sounds like he's just reading from a script. But I was very impressed with the response of that writing prompt, and then couple that with a voice, so you can generate a script with AI and then have AI read it. It's mind blowing. Like, what do you think?
I think you still tell it's a little bit robotic, but there's definitely potential.
Yeah,
I think you probably have to get more voice clips in there so you can get like
you can scooch up so you can pick up.
you like the tone of the voice, like it almost sounds like you're kind of reading it like this, and occasionally it'll talk like that. But I think like, especially for Joel, he's like really enthusiastic about things.
Like dynamic.
So I think you need more voice clips in there in order for it to actually like pick up his enunciations on things.
Yeah, so that was that voice model was generated from one video. Just one video. So I literally just downloaded a video from YouTube, stripped the audio out, and then uploaded that as a voice training model, and that was the result. I also have one from my buddy Sean, and I had AI write, and he loves cats, so I made one where he's talking about cats, and I'm trying to find it here. Let me see if I have it, because I can just pipe that audio in, and it's just funny. Like, we'll see BTT sizzle reel with Tim's voice. Oh my god, that'd be great. I'm trying to find. Oh, here we go. So I'll pipe this in. So listen, this is my buddy Sean. He works for me in the print firm. And so what we did was I had him read a news article and vary his tone and inflection and everything. And so I think it's like a minute of voice recording just on a regular headset. And this is what it came up with. So, and the script that the AI is reading was also generated by AI. So there.
I just have to take a moment to express how much I absolutely adore cats. These furry felines have a way of stealing my heart with their playful antics, soft purrs, and affectionate cuddles. Whether it's watching them pounce on a toy or curl up in a cozy spot for a nap, there's just something about cats that brings me so much joy. If you're a fellow cat lover, let's give our furry friends some extra love today. Hashtag cat love, hashtag furry friends, hashtag meow.
So the weird, where it's like hash, I actually had hashtag. I told it to write me a Facebook post about just how much I love cats, and that's what it did. But it's just crazy. Like, it's crazy. And I do have one that I made already for like kind of a funny marketing video. I'm not going to play that audio because I want to make the video, and I'll probably upload it as a YouTube short and to our TikTok, and we'll see how that goes. So, but it looks like we got some questions here. And Tyler, you get to help us answer some questions today since you're here. So this first one is going to be from Peter, and he says the firmware for the Tina 2 prepared / patch for the Easy ABL. Which version of the probe would you recommend? The micro looks like a drop-in replacement. I'd like to place an order tonight. So the Tina 2 that has a 12mm probe. The 8mm would actually not be a drop-in because it is a smaller diameter. One thing I did think about doing is having like kind of a sleeve that you could put over the 8mm to put in there, but it wouldn't be a drop-in. I do have the other Tina 2, but since that printer hasn't been that popular, it's still in the box just because I can't justify spending a ton of time on it. But the firmware, I am going to be pushing a firmware patch this weekend. There is a bug with the Tina 2 firmware that came about as it came about after I patched another bug with another printer. So that's been fixed. That's already on our GitHub. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, there's our GitHub. So github.com/th3d studio. It's in our unified one. And you'll see there's a 2.1.x-testing branch that has all of our latest code on there. So the Tina 2 code is fixed, and that'll be pushed this weekend. It's on my list to push out that update because there's a couple other fixes. And then, yeah, that's about it. So it will work on that printer. It's just you're going to have to figure out a way to put it into that stock mount, whether that's designing a new one or just putting a sleeve to space it in there. I actually have to look at it because that printer might be as simple as take it out and just put longer screws in to hold the probe in the stock location. So, but that printer I do still have the little heater. Peter actually sent me this because the printer does not have a heated bed. So he actually sent me this little cute heater, little 24-volt heater. I think it's 24 volt. I'm going to check the resistance, but I'm going to build that printer for my mom because it's small. They're like, I don't know if you saw the video, but it's like this big by this. And it's a great little starter printer. It was actually really good. And they released all the fucking source code.
So funny enough, like things like this, so like up in Alaska, we have to winterize cars. Like that looks like the exact thing that goes underneath my oil pan heater, but it runs on AC and not DC.
Yeah, like you see the plugs hanging out the front of the trucks. I see them occasionally around here, but it's not really that big of a deal around here. 3 Experience is asking, do you have any published profiles for the coax filament? So I don't. So I had tried to create a site. We had a forum where you could share profiles and just talk about maker stuff, but nobody used the forum, so that's dead. But in terms of coax, I found it prints fine with most just standard PLA profiles. The only exception being I usually run a 230C nozzle temp. So coax, Atomic, a lot of the made in US plastics. I'm looking to see where the hell the dogs went. I'm gonna lock them in. Oh wait, that's the one I care about. So as long as he's in here. But the coax, anyways, sorry, I was talking about the temps. So a lot of the main US plastics, you'll find that they need a higher temp to print. And it's just because of different formulations versus like a lot of the imported filaments. So for my coax, I run a 230 nozzle temp and a 60C bed. The biggest thing I think that trips people up is it usually prints better with a higher temp. So if you're having issues, just get a good PLA profile that you've been using and change the nozzle temp and go from there. And that's about it. I don't know what filaments I know you haven't printed a lot lately, but what did you use to print with, like in terms of PLA temps? Because I know you printed with a lot of different stuff. I know you print with some of the US stuff too.
Usually 210 to 215, depending on what it was.
Okay. Yeah. Have you ever printed with the coax stuff?
I've not printed with coax.
You traitor. You traitor. I bet he doesn't even have a printer hooked up at home.
I do actually. It's downstairs, but it's on the floor. I don't have a. No, actually, for one of the lasers, I had a rotary device, and there was a bunch of 3D printed parts on it.
So you're like, I got to get my printer working.
And literally, like the very first time I used it, I go to push down on a part, and it just snaps. I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to print that now. I dug the printer out. It doesn't even have a spool holder on it. Like I was watching it as it was printing, and I was like unwinding the spool. So,
oh my god, Tyler!
It's awesome.
Oh my god, is that the S4? What do you have right
that
now?
That one was the artillery SWX1.
Okay.
One.
Yeah, I had one of those. Like, I ended up giving it away. After replacing the ribbon cables, like, I don't even know, 2 or 3 times, at least 2 times, I was like, I'm done with this thing. Like, I liked how it looked, but oh my god, the freaking ribbon. How many of you guys have had a Sidewinder with the ribbon cables and had issues with them? Because I feel like it's a very common problem.
I never had issues with that, but I know Cody had an issue with the printer because his bed just cracked. I think he was printing ABS.
Oh, because it had the glass, right?
Yeah, and it was like directly.
Or are you thinking of the TiVo? Or was it the Sidewinder?
It was a Sidewinder. It's like
TiVo had a glass
directly
bed
on the heating pad. It's like that's the bed. There's
okay.
no like metal plate underneath it. It's like it's on the heating pad, and there's like 4 big washers underneath that bed sits on. That's how you level it, and that was it. So there's no replacement for it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that printer is. I know there's. Can't remember what company. There's one company that all they sell if you on their site is just Sidewinder replacement parts. I'm like, that's rough. All right, so 3D Experiments. You might actually be able to chime in because I know you know the guys who make filaments. He's asking about industrial filaments like Peak. Is there a printer you recommend? I think you messed with it, didn't you?
Yeah. So there was
The FunMats.
the FunMat HT Pro. I don't know if they got a newer model that was a couple years old, and then the Intimsys. I can't remember the model number on that one.
Yeah, so if you guys are familiar with the Vision Miner nanopolymer, this stuff, which I need to steal a new bottle because I'm almost out. These guys sell, and this was actually originally developed for high temp materials, and they sell. So you always go to visionminer.com. They sell high end printers. You're going to pay a lot; they're thousands of dollars, but they have really good printers for those materials. And I would definitely, if that's something you're going to be doing a lot, because those materials are hundreds of dollars a roll. Definitely invest in a printer that's properly set up to do them. So yeah, I think the FunMat was one. The HT2s, I'll pull them up. I'll give them a shout out. I like those guys. Rob's good people over there.
Definitely. I've talked to a lot of the guys that are over there, and every one of them have been helpful.
Yeah, they're awesome. So if I switch here, so this is the Vision Miner site. So let's see, shop. So they got printers. Yeah, so they still got the FunMats. Industrial printers here. They also sell the materials as well. What printer do you need? I wonder if they have like a wizard or something. Oh yeah, look at, they got a little wizard. Let's enter your basic. Oh, I'm not giving you guys my name. I don't want to get on an email list. But yeah, so like these, like your Intimassist, the FunMat HT. So here, Peak, PEI, PPSU. So like this is the kind of stuff you're going to want to look for. I think this is like the entry level one, and that's actually not bad. I thought they were going to be like 10 grand.
Yeah, I know the one they recommended was like starting at 12. So they must have gotten like a couple newer models that are.
Yeah, like if I was getting into it, I'd probably go with something like this, because this isn't that bad. Because like, let's be honest, by the time you outfit a printer that is going to be able to do that, you're probably 3 to 4 grand in there. At that point, I would just rather have a ready to go solution for those specialized materials, because you know that it's made to work instead of messing with stuff. Because a lot of those need Peak and Ultim and all those need like heated chambers, don't they? Like really hot. Like we're talking like some of the materials like 100 degrees Celsius heated chambers. Like the ambient temperature inside that printer is 100 degrees Celsius. Like you can boil water in the air. It's so hot. So you got specialized components that are made to take that heat, the belting, like special motors, like, or the motors, or sometimes will be even outside the enclosure and remote routed, like that kind of stuff.
But I want to say up until like a couple of years ago, some of this stuff was still proprietary. Like only certain companies had the patents to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So it must have expired, or they must have worked out some kind of deal or come up with some kind of
like a
new,
licensing almost.
Yeah. So that's probably why some of these other companies can now produce like printers that are about $6 grand. What was that one? $6 grand?
Yeah, that's not bad for a printer that'll print Peak and Ultim. Like I don't think that's bad at all. Because here's the thing: if you're getting into those materials are expensive. Like that's not a terrible price. Like if I was like, hey, I want to get into Peak and Ultim, I would probably just buy that instead of trying to build something myself and spending hours and hours of troubleshooting and trial and error. Especially when the material is so damn fast. Jerry says a Quiddy iFast has a heated chamber. I highly doubt that's going to be heated enough for Peak. I'm looking it up here right now, and that one's 2200. They're not advertising any Peak or Ultim. Max nozzle temp is 350C, and they don't miss all. They don't. Yeah, so the heated chamber on that only goes up to 60C, and I'm pretty sure that's too low for those other materials. Yeah, so here, actually, I'm looking at the spec sheet of the FunMat HT. 160 degrees C build plate. So your bed can get up to 160 degrees Celsius, 450 degrees Celsius on the extruder, and 90 degrees Celsius on the chamber. So, and that's a 260 by 260 by 260 build volume. Like, that's a pretty good value for that price, in my opinion.
I think it's pretty good build volume, too. Because obviously, Peak and Ultim are just insanely expensive for what it is. So, like, you're not going to be printing anything probably bigger than that with
Yeah, it's good. You like run print. Yeah, you guys think print failures are bad now? Can you imagine a peak or Altem print where you're like, oh damn, I just lost like $60. It's like as bad as like having a fail on like a machine, like doing CNC and stuff. Like I was talking to a buddy who runs a machine shop. He's like, yeah, when we have a failed print, so to speak, on a machine, you have a failed machine part. You're like, you could be out hundreds of dollars depending on what material you were doing. If any tools broke during the process, like it'll make you cry sometimes. Okay. So Bean5 says, how do I reduce layer bulging when there's a big geometry change in the model? So that's something I'd like to see a picture of for an example, because I don't really know. Do you know what he means by that?
Maybe like a sharp corner, almost.
Yeah.
Like if you were to try to
like cornering.
Like this.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. Hey, Comet, don't start that barking. Yeah, you can post a picture of it. If you're talking about simple, like, hey, like, the printer's going like this, it's going this way, and all of a sudden it has to go this way. Slowing the printer down will always help that. Stuff like input shaping, which our firmware has. If you have a board that'll actually run it, so if you got one of the 32-bit boards, you can play with input shaping on there. Hang on. Had to yell at the dogs, tell them to shut up. But yeah, if you're talking about that, since I'm looking at the chat, I don't see any further information. But if you're talking about, where it's like kind of bulging out, like slow the print down. But stuff like that is what input shaping is designed for, is to increase the print quality while still maintaining print speed. In general, on your printers, no matter how much compensation you guys have, even if you're running input shaping and all this stuff, like the faster you run the printer, there's going to be a degradation in print quality, no matter what. Like, you can have the best printer on there, it doesn't matter. It's just the physical limitations of how this technology works. So I'm going to skip that since I haven't seen him post anything further in here.
I don't know what's called now, like your jerk and acceleration settings too. It's like if you have it set really low and it's basically just like kind of going around the corner like that instead of like actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. What's it? S-curve acceleration now, I think.
S-curve is in there, but that's not. We don't actually have that on our firmware because it's still buggy.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but yeah, your jerk and acceleration values. So if you tune those, you can change your jerk and acceleration values, and if you're running our firmware, you have access to change all that. A lot of the stock printers don't give you access to that. But
especially
yeah,
acceleration. Like if it gets to a point and then it just sits there for even like a microsecond too long, it's still extruding the filaments. You want to get it out of there as soon as possible.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like, there's also a thing with some Octoprint setups and the buffer size and the firmware where if you're coming around curves, because it's sending a bunch of tiny little commands, it'll stutter and then create little bulges. So a picture would help, but we're gonna move on since I don't see anybody. It looks like somebody knows you.
Yeah, I sent out the link to it.
Oh, did you? He didn't put the exclamation point Q, but you can answer his question.
Reduce string with silk PLA. More heat?
No.
Not really.
No, I would say less heat and a little more retraction. The retraction with some silk PLAs is weird because they like that'll like whatever. I don't know if it's an elastomer, it's the word I want to use, but like whatever they add to it to give it that sheen. Like if you guys ever extrude the silk PLAs, it kind of like encapsulates itself in like almost like a piece of sausage. Almost. I don't know if you printed silk recently, but
not recently. I know when I did print it, the retraction had to go up. You don't want to do too much retraction because then you get the bulge inside the hot end, and then
it'll jam. 3 Experiments says, "What's a telltale sign that a nozzle needs to be replaced?" One, look at the actual tip, and if it's ground off because you've been dragging across the bed too much over the years, that's a good time to replace it. The other thing is checking the diameter. So let's say maybe you ran some abrasive material like carbon fiber or glow in the dark filament through it and didn't realize you need to have a nozzle that'll withstand abrasives. Take your calipers and measure it. If it's more than the diameter is supposed to be, replace it. But in general, like in our print farm, every 6 months we replace the nozzles on the printers just because eventually what'll happen is as you're printing, sometimes you'll get buildup where the plastic will stick inside the nozzle and it'll crystallize, and sometimes it'll dislodge and cause clogs. But the big thing, if it needs to be replaced, is if you just keep getting constant jams, constant clogs, you know, if it's gotten physically damaged, we just do it as a routine thing. Nozzles are a wearable item. You know, there's no set time. Like, obviously, if you're not printing that much, it's going to last longer. If you're printing a lot, it's not going to last that long. Oh, the sun. There you go. I hate those things. There you go. It's like got a lock. It's like a ratcheting thing, but you can't like hear it.
It was like on Half-Life.
Yeah, I have this one on a motorized one, which I have the parts to do that. I just haven't done it to those. So that was a project I was supposed to do. But yeah, basically, if your print quality is going to crap, try replacing the nozzle. They're cheap. Like even the expensive ones, like our highest price nozzles are Easy Flow ones, and those are only $15. If you just got a brass nozzle and you put another brass nozzle in, those are literally like $1 or $2 tops. Just change them out. So yeah. Let's see. So we got one more question here. So guys, you guys are not very talkative today, and if we don't have a bunch of questions, I'm gonna end the stream early so we can. We're planning on going to grab some dinner and then going to the gun range. So Portillo's, yeah. So he's deprived. He doesn't have Portillo's or Menards in Alaska. Like. It sounds like torture.
It is torture. Sometimes it's.
It's like, oh, today's a high of -34. He says you need to get a beer. There's some zombie dust in the fridge. There is zombie dust in the fridge. Well, I guess.
On vacation.
I'm on vacation. It's almost whew. It's almost 5 o'clock. And if you guys notice, whenever I've had zombie dust on a stream, I always make sure to mention it. It's like, if Tyler, if you're watching, I don't know if you've ever caught him.
I'm drinking zombie dust.
Finally, on stream. All right, so let's see. So McLogo76, he says, does EasyBoard improve printing quality on the Ender 3 Pro? He has the TMC drivers, the TMC driver versus a 115 8-bit silent board. Is that only noticeable if you use linear advance, etc.? So the 115 board, those you can't run linear advance on those without them shutting down. And I'm sure there's some people like, oh, I got it working. In my experience, they just shut down. That's the whole thing. They shut down because they panic if they're in standalone mode. Like, but in UART mode, we had 2208s running with linear advance on our EasyBoard V1. We have 2209s. Linear advance works on those. Just the 2208s are like the ones that are problematic with linear advance, and the 115 boards are the ones that had those in standalone mode. So, but in terms of print quality, you might not see a major difference in print quality with that. As far as I know, the 115 boards, while they are older 8-bit boards and they don't have as many options, I don't recall there being a lot of print quality issues. Like if you guys watched the video last week where we did the SV06, where I compared the print quality of our EasyBoard versus the stock board, you could see that the EasyBoard does do cleaner prints. So I would assume maybe a little bit, but I'm not going to tell you, oh yeah, buy it, it's going to be so much better. It might be a slight improvement, but it's probably not going to be night and day as long as your board is working correctly. So that's really what it is. You know, I'm not going to sell you stuff you don't need. You know, if it's working, with that board, just keep it cool, because those boards do have a tendency to overheat because Creality did not properly design them thermally. But if it's working, use it till it dies. I mean, if you're itching to get a new board, we do have Easy Boards in stock. You might see a better print quality, you know, maybe smoother surface. You know, you're definitely gonna get more features. You're gonna be able to run a newer version of Marlin, have more stuff on there. You can play with input shaping. The board's a lot more capable versus the one you have. But yeah, I would say maybe a little bit better. I see Scott's here. He said Marlin Linear Advance has had some updates that should make them potentially more reliable. So I did see that on the 2.1.2 release, and I did a test print with it on some 22.8s and standalone. And the first print worked, and it was only like an hour print for a benchy, and then I did another test print with like, I think did like a box or something, but it was like a 5-hour print, and the extruder stopped after about 2 hours. So I think it's just an incompatibility with the hardware, and it's very common when the drivers are running in standalone mode. So
this Scott. Hey Scott.
Yeah, he's right there.
I see him.
I also have Scott's voice in. Oh, hang on. What is that? Wait, I think Scott wanted to say something. Hang on. Do I still have it? Oh, I didn't. Did I delete it because I needed another voice? Hang on. I think I still have his. I think I still have his voice clip saved somewhere. Hang on. Where's my training model for Scott? Damn it! I was hoping I had it. I was hoping I had it in there. That would have been great.
Maybe in Telegram.
Oh wait, I have him here. Let's see, Scott. It's uploading. The Discord chat still has it. I was gonna make you say something. I mean, we were talking about the easy boards, and I think I recall you saying something about the easy board. Just waiting for it to do its thing here. You know, my review system is loading. It's instant reviews. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, hang on. Here it is. I found it. Here's his review. Do you remember this, Scott? Did you remember this review, Scott?
This is Scott from the Marlin Project. I just wanted to say the EasyBoard V2 is the best board out there.
There you go. You heard it from the man himself. It's the best board out there. Oh, the Clipper firmware one? I think it took a sec to do because I just uploaded the voice model. But it sounds pretty good. Oh my God. All right, let's get back on topic. So, Peter Anderson said, "Get beer achieved."
There's
Cheers.
A new zombie dust I want to look for tonight too. I think I sent you the picture of it. They were doing it. It was a limited release.
Oh, fancy. I mean, we can go hunting for some beer. The future is bright. Did you like that, Scott? I thought it was funny. Just so you guys know, if you couldn't tell, that was a fake AI thing. That's not actually Scott endorsing our product. It was being funny. Hey, you have resin printers, so you can answer this after M. Poffenbargers, which I know is Mark. Is there a good free option? I have not found one. Maybe if people want to recommend one in the chat, but I'm using the 11 Labs one, which is $5 a month. For like the entry level one. They do have a free one, but you can't upload voice models on the free one. And I think $5 a month for even just playing around with it. It's amazing. And then $22 a month gives you more access, which I had to upgrade because I've been messing with it so much, but it's cool stuff. But you have resin printers.
Still have.
But you have more experience with them than I am. So I'm going to let you answer this one because I don't usually take resin questions. But this is, I think, your buddy.
It is my buddy. Matt Farmer will probably be able to answer this question better than I could too. He's a Kuma Mods on TikTok, Facebook, everywhere else too. So I might be able to get you in touch with him. Number one, don't use shit resin. If you're gonna get resin, pay for good resin. Don't get the cheap stuff. Like I'd say if it's $20 or less for a liter, it's probably just gonna throw out. Go with some quality resin. I don't know if the guy that I know sells it on Amazon or not. It was one of the guys that did a giveaway on Jim's stream one time. That's actually where I won one of my resin printers at.
Oh, does he resell resin? Or?
He resells the resin printers and the resin.
Okay.
But it's good quality stuff. I'll have to look at his business info. I'll send it to you.
I did hear, isn't there a trick someone told me about putting, like, rubbing PTFE lubricant on the FEP to get the release easier or something? I've never tried. I got rid of all my resin printers over a year ago because I never used them.
So you want to make sure that it's got the proper amount of tension on it too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say somebody did something with like tuning on your phone. Like if you're tuning a guitar, there's people out there that know.
Oh, like the frequency if you ping it
yeah.
or flick it or something?
Like if you flick it, it's supposed to be like a G or something. I would look that up. Some of the resin groups probably have that too. Also, dial in your settings. So like if you have it exposed too long and it just hardens on that resin,
It's
or
gonna
hardens
stick,
on the
right?
FEP film, it's going to stick more than if you had it dialed in properly.
Yeah, because it's going to want to pull the FEP and tear it.
Well, that's what it does anyway. So like the build plate goes down to the FEP, and it actually pings the FEP whenever you pull it up. So,
Yeah,
like,
you would hear it.
pulls. Yeah, like you hear the
Here.
suction, you hear the.
3D Jerry 3AP Rain-X. That's actually probably a good idea. I don't have them to try it, but I mean, I'd be willing to try it. Like just Rain-X. It makes sense, you know, if it's a repellent. So, all right. Let's see. Yeah. So let's see. Peter Anderson says, I'm constantly at M120/error shutdowns on Interpret when I print too fast with any ideas. Print slower with it. The board probably can't handle it. Those boards, even though they're 32-bit boards, they're slower processors. And I know Peter's going to be like, well, then make the easy board work with it. I know what you're doing, Peter. Yeah, if it's at a certain point, if you're pushing your printer too fast, certain boards just can't handle it. Yeah. But yeah, you kind of answer your own question. So it's kind of like, you know, when I poke myself with the scraper, it hurts. So stop poking yourself with the scraper. When I print too fast, it errors out. Well, print a little bit slower.
What is M120? Is that a memory?
That's just the I think that's a Holt one, if I'm correct. Like the hey, something's wrong type of thing.
It's been a while since I looked at M-errors.
Let's see. Oh, I'm looking it up right now. I think he's confusing. M120 is M-STOT. Maybe M102? What is the emergency stop? What is the emergency stop? I know there's a G code for emergency stop. Are you thinking about M112? Yeah, M112. So M112, let's see. There we go. Let's see what Scott. Scott, what is M1?
Used for emergency stopping, M112 shuts down the machine, turns off all the steppers and heaters, and if possible, turns off the power supply. A reset is required to return to operational mode.
That's got some like HAL 9000, I can't let you do that, Dave vibes to how it was reading that. Okay. All right, let's see.
See, Scott's voice does sound better than Joel's because Scott just has like that soft voice.
He does kind of talk
just
like that in
talks like
person.
that.
Yeah, that's
Just like a laid back,
yep.
which is perfect for that AI generation. Whereas Joel Telling is just like, "Hey guys," he just enunciates everything.
Yeah.
He's really happy about everything. Nothing wrong with that, but AI just has a difficult time.
With emotion.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I can't let you do that, Dave. Buy another Ender 3. Okay, so Jimmy Smith says, worth getting your unified software or the Big Tree Tech default for the SQR Mini E3 V3. The answer is if their software is not working and they're not helping you out, I would say yes. Also, if you buy our software, you can add on for, I think it's like $25 or $35. You can add on tech support. So unlike Big Tree Tech, you can actually get technical support from us. So the firmware itself is only $5. So it's really cheap. You get 6 months of updates. And then if you also want technical support during that, you can add that on for a very low cost. Also, if you bought it and then you find you need tech support, we do have like a per incident ticket. So like you need help, you didn't buy the support, and we can upgrade that ticket to get you support even if you didn't buy it, and for a $25 fee for that ticket. So, but yeah, so if it's not working for you and you can't get help with it, then yes, I mean, I think a lot of people, there's probably people watching here that have used our firmware, whether it's on our board or stock board or the Big Tree Tech boards that we put out firmware for, and really, really like it. I mean, it's very popular. Like we literally get thousands of downloads, like not even exaggerating, a day of our firmware from the site. So I'd like to think we're doing something right.
Light Source Engraving is my buddy Patrick saying, "What's up, Tyler and Tim?" What's up, Patrick? He does laser engraving too, obviously.
Oh, so now you got a whole new group of friends in the laser community.
I do.
Us 3D printing peasants are not cool enough for you anymore.
Yeah, I've got people from both sides now, so if I need something, I know who to reach out to.
All right. So Bean 5, that's the one about the geometry of the model. Post it in the Discord. There's a link in the description for Discord. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just trying to update my things. Light Stars Engraving, he 3D prints too. Thank you. Awesome. You're
He
cool.
does 3D print, sorry.
He does 3D print.
He actually 3D printed. So like with the fiber lasers, like the galvo lasers, how you have to focus them. He's got 3D printed focal sticks you can like put together. This has to be a certain distance from the object. So like you take the sticks, just like a T shape. You put the T on the nozzle. I'm in 3D printing mode right now. Put the T shape on the lens, and you got like down to a point, and you just basically crank it down until it gets down to the point, and then that's on the object.
Okay. So Rob's asking, how do I center my BL Touch on the build platform? So, and this applies for, oh, thank you. I'll go buy Tyler some beer with that money. I appreciate it. I see Maker Viking enter the chat. Rob says, how do I center my BL Touch on the build platform? So the most common issue with your sensor not being centered when it homes is because your offsets are entered wrong, and or you didn't reset your EEPROM. So in the Marlin firmware, and actually all the firmwares, they have offsets, meaning you have to tell the probe or tell the firmware where the probe is in relation to the nozzle, whether it's to the left or the right on X or front to back on Y. The easiest way is just grab your calipers. I just have my calipers laying around here, measure it on X, measure it on Y, and then make a note if it's in front or behind or left to right, and then enter those offsets in. Once you enter those offsets in, you can go ahead, recompile the firmware, upload it to the printer, and reset the EEPROM. Now, there are G-code commands that set it, set the offsets. I don't like doing them because half the time, including myself, more than half the time, you'll put them just in EEPROM, you'll reset the EEPROM for something, and you'll forget that you entered the offsets in EEPROM. The benefit of entering them into the firmware itself is between EEPROM resets, it will retain those values and go back to the default. So that's why we recommend you putting it in the firmware instead of doing an EEPROM. There's nothing wrong with doing an EEPROM for testing. So if you want to test, you can set it with G-code commands, but I always do it, even on my printers here, I always do it through the firmware and update the software. So
Can't tell you how many times I forgot to clear my EEPROM after I was doing that. And like you go to home it again, you're like, why is this still the exact same it was?
yeah, because it does store that. So even if you update the firmware, but you don't clear the EEPROM will retain the old value. So yeah. Matt's asking if I've tested the Creality Frosted PEI for the Ender 2 Pro. I still need a bed to be heated at 50C, although they say you don't need to heat the bed. So I'm going to tell you right now, the companies that tell you don't need to heat the bed for their build services, most of the time, probably either they're lying or they haven't thoroughly tested their stuff. The only surfaces I've found that you can sometimes get away with not heating the bed is stuff like our Easy Mats. Do you remember the Easy Mats? Mm-hmm. The polycarbonate type build sheets. So like Build Tack, our Easy Mats. I'm sure there's other brands, but those are the only type of surfaces I have found that you can sometimes get away more often than not with no heat. PEI, in my experience, you have to have heat, whether it's ABS, PLA, TPU, PETG. I feel like they're lying, or maybe they have well, we're not lying because on this tiny little part we were able to print. Like, look, we did a little 20 by 20 cube and that didn't need heat and it stuck. The thing with bigger parts, you have more chance of warping. So smaller part, less warping. Bigger part, more warping because there's more plastic contracting as it cools. The other thing,
if it's a small part,
the other thing,
the nozzle too.
Yeah.
So that'll keep heat on that part, so
Yep.
it'll warp
So
and come off the bed.
So this stuff though, for keeping prints stuck to your bed, no matter what you're using, legitimately, I love this stuff. I absolutely love this shit. We were using this. He's the one who got me on Vision Miner. And I remember telling him, this looks like this is overpriced snake oil bullshit. I literally called it snake oil before I'd ever tried it. And then he's like, you got a bunch of samples somehow.
Yeah, so I reached out to those guys. I was on the admin of the CR10 group at the time, the CR10S, whatever it's called now.
Hang on one second. I do want to say thank you, Peter. I don't know what SEK is, but he gave us 100 SEK. What is SEK? I know Peter's international.
Swedish krona?
That's what I was thinking. So, anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Hey.
It's about $9.
Yes,
Cool.
Swedish.
Hell yeah. Looks like we're gonna get some beer, get more beer tonight.
Do it.
Hell yeah!
So I reached out to those guys, Rob actually, because he was posting about it in the group. I'm like, hey, like I kind of want to try this stuff out. Like I see you posting about it. And
Did
said
you
saw
think
this.
it was kind of bullshit though before you tried it?
I wanted to reach out to see what it was. Like, I
Well,
didn't
give
wanna
me your
call it
honest
bullshit.
answer. Rob's not gonna get offended.
No. Like I knew it probably worked because especially he said that we're using it for peak and ultimate. I'm like cool. So I got it, tried it out, and I'm like, I was having trouble anyway on my ABS printer. It was just printing on like it was literally the backside. It's like the bed that comes with the Ender 3s and stuff like
Like
that
the glass.
bed.
Oh yeah,
Like the
yeah.
textured
I
one.
hate those things
I
so
flipped
much.
it over and I was printing on the smooth side.
I've printed with Vision Miner. I was looking for the bottle right here. I have printed with Vision Miner on a bare steel sheet.
Yeah, when we were at Earth,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, someone was like, "Does this work?" I'm like, "Start print." Hey, look, it's sticking.
okay, anyway, I reached out to those guys. Rob sent me like this sample pack, and I'm trying it. And I'm like, man, this stuff sticks. Like, I was literally if if you print a part on the bed and it's still hot, you cannot take it off the bed. That will not come off. As soon as it cools, you can just.
I'm gonna go with the donut really quick.
All right.
Go ahead, take over the stream. I'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? Anyway, yeah, Vision Miner. Those guys, nanopolymer adhesive. I believe Tim actually sells some of this stuff. I think he has samples on the website. Don't get me wrong, if I'm wrong. But definitely get some of that. You put it down, you heat the bed up. ABS, PETG, PLA, whatever. You put that stuff down, it will stick. I've used it on glass beds. Tim said he used it on steel. We use it on some of the textured PEI. We use it on smooth PEI. Everything just works. Let's see if I can answer any of these questions while he's gone. Trying to answer questions.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's see. Have you tested the original Creality frosted PEI? For
Yeah,
the
that's what
Pro?
we were talking about. I'm
We
gonna
haven't
look
put it
that
on
up.
out yet.
So I'm assuming the frosted PEI is probably just a regular PEI sheet with some like textured on it. Are you gonna answer him? Glass beds.
How does Vision Miner work on textured PEI? It works really well.
Basically, this, where is it? I keep looking for it. This stuff works on every surface. Like literally every surface I've tried. I've tried glass, textured PEI, smooth PEI, bare steel, even hell, printing on a bare aluminum bed. Like I'm not even joking.
Does it still work on glass if people pollute it with hairspray and glue stick? I would clean it.
Yeah, clean it.
Clean
yeah,
it first. Like
clean
if it's
it.
I would do a bare glass sheet.
I'm looking for this Creality frosted thing.
Patrick, when I get back, I've got some samples. I'll send them to you. With
This
this
is
stuff.
literally just a textured plate that they're calling frosted PEI.
No. Yep. That's straight up.
It's
textured
literally
PEI.
the same stuff it's the same stuff.
Powder
like,
coated PEI,
Yeah,
like
it's like a powder coated baked on. Now, yeah, so that's funny. They're calling it frosted. What? Yeah. So here's smooth PEI, and this is what Creality is calling frosted. This is we call this textured, which I think makes more sense.
I prefer printing on the texture. I think it gives the actual part a nice look, like a finished look.
So the only reason I have the majority of textured plates in here is because stuff like this, so like products that we print,
Yep.
this gives a product a really nice finish. Okay, LCD cases, we print them face down. It gives a nice finish. But for stuff where we're just printing like easy ABL mounts and stuff, I use a smooth. Part of me kind of wants to just go just over to the textured one, but I know there's there's people that prefer the smooth. Like just because I prefer the texture, there's also a lot of people that prefer the smooth because the smooth also gives a nice surface because it's not like glass, but it's just like kind of like that's what I would think frosted would be. It's not.
Yeah, like
It's
just shiny enough.
Yeah, it's like kind of a satin finish.
There you go.
Like it's not a high gloss. It's like a satin finish. So
Yeah, there's people that prefer printing on glass with like that high gloss finish.
I don't like
looks
that.
garbage.
yeah, I don't like it.
Like if you printed the cases on that, I think it would look gross.
Yeah, I think it would look tacky. Yeah, cleaning Vision Miner, just isopropyl alcohol. In general, cleaning your bed, isopropyl alcohol. In general, no matter what you're using, whether it's just the bed itself or whatever. I mean, I use IPA. What do you use for your printer? Just IPA?
Well, it depends on what it is. If it's like a glass bed, I'll actually take it to the sink.
Yeah, you can
and
rinse it off.
Like, rinse
Do
it
you-
off. You scrub it with like a sponge, and if it's, I used to use glue stick and stuff before I put vision miner. So like, take it to the sink, spray it down with a Dawn Power Wash. Now it's actually got alcohol in it.
Wait,
So stuff
what?
breaking down. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I found that out the hard way when I was up in Alaska because it gets really dry up there.
Oh,
like, I
and
was
it's
washing my hands with it. I'm like, this is quick and easy. I just spray it on my hands.
and
My
they're like
hands got
cracking and stuff.
so bad, like to the point where 2 years ago for Chinese flu, we were using
Yeah.
hand sanitizer all the time.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, because
And
it just
it
eats.
burned
Oh my
so
god!
bad.
I can't remember what it was. I was doing something. I like cut my hands up when I was working in the yard, and then I was cleaning one of my beds, and I was like, I had some dirt on my hand, and I had the rag in my hand with the IPA. I was like, I'll just rub it off, and it got into the cut, and I was like, oh my fucking god, it was so bad. Like, oh my god, like alcohol getting in cuts. Oh, like if you have a paper cut, alcohol will help you find it almost
Yes.
instantly, almost instantly.
Yeah.
Ah.
Public service announcement: do not wash your hands with Dawn Power Wash. It has alcohol in it.
Oh my god. Peter Anderson said, I totally knew it. So I knew he's been wanting. So I've told people, not many people realize, like, we are a very small company. There's me, Krista on the marketing side, Tor and Peter on the support side, and then we have 2 full-time people, Sean and Danielle, and a part-time person named Susan in the shop. And then my mom actually helps out with like the bookkeeping stuff, and that's basically it. Like, we are a very small company, so like my time is spent between company stuff, like the boring, paperwork crap and all that, helping out the team with things that they need help with, and then during product development. So it's not that I don't want to do like videos on showing, hey, here's how to put our board in the Ender 7, and here's how to put our board in the Ender 6 or whatever, printers that they can go in, but it's a little more involved. It's just a lack of time because, one thing, like, while I do work a lot, one thing I have been prioritizing is actually taking time to disconnect and hang out, with Krista or hang out with friends, that kind of stuff, and just having some decompression time. Because otherwise, I get just way too overwhelmed and, work myself to death, and I'm not pleasant to be around when I'm stressed out, like, which I think is
Yeah, good
with most people. So, but yeah. So, anyways, 3D printer, 3D experience, opinion on printing paper on painter's tape.
So I actually printed on painter's tape with the was it the Model Price MPI3 Mini, like that original one that you said, like, was that black one?
With the sheet metal?
Yeah. So it had like almost like a build tax surface on it. It was garbage. It didn't have a heated build plate, nothing. So that was what I first started printing on, was the painter's tape. So that's what I read. Everybody was like, yeah, painter's tape, that's great. Go ahead and put it on there. PLA will stick. No. It did not work. I ended up getting an Easy Mat because I think was the Ender 2 Easy Mat, if you cut it like just a hair, it actually fit on that bed.
Yeah, because those sheets you can cut to fit. I mean, this is my opinion on painter's tape. Okay. Here,
The painter's tape is garbage. What year is it? 2001. Get yourself an Easy Flex and put that tape in the garbage.
there you go.
Upset.
All right, let's see. Oh, it's already 5 o'clock, so let's try to rail through these.
We're just having fun.
I mean, this is
Everybody's
fun.
here asking questions.
I know, it's great. We went from like no questions. I feel like every time I'm like, hey guys, you need to ask questions, and then we go from no questions to too many. I'm almost thinking, was that the Donald? It was, it was the Donald. Oh, let's see. Hang on, let's see. Apparently I can't talk. Here we go. Let's do this one.
Hey there, 3D Experiments. How are you doing today?
I mean, it's pretty damn convincing. I want to make some. You know what? I'm just gonna do this. I'm probably gonna revise it. I was messing around with. So this is multiple AI voice clips done into one, And I want to see if you guys think that something like this would be funny. I'm not trying to be like political or anything. This is purely for humor, and I find it very amusing. So let me find this. So this is multiple ones that I then splice together. So I think this would be a funny like ad, have like, you know, pictures of each person talking with like other clips. But anyway, so let me know what you guys think. I think this would be funny.
Hey guys, I'm trying to get this dang bed leveled on my printer, but the BL Touch won't deploy. What do I do?
Jesus, Joe, why the hell did you buy that shoddy thing? I told you to get the Easy ABL for your printer. I know your dumb ass is too slow to figure out how to wire that thing up.
Come on, man, I just want to level my bed. I have no idea how this thing works. There's like 5 wires and I have no idea where they go.
Okay, you have to connect the 2 ground wires to the ground pins on your board. Then there's a 5-volt wire that needs to connect to the 5-volt pin as well. Put the Z signal pin to one of the I/O pins on the board, and then the control pin to another one.
See, was that so hard to help me out, man? I think I got it now. I'm going to turn the printer on again. Oh, wait, never mind. The board just shut off and won't turn back on. God damn it.
I told you that thing was too complicated for you. I'm willing to bet you shorted out your board because you wired it up wrong. You got a country to run, just buy the Easy ABL and be done with it. Stop wasting your time with that BL Touch.
So stuff like that. Did you guys think that'd be funny? Just have some like YouTube shorts or TikTok clips with that? I thought it was funny. I posted in our Discord server, and a bunch of the guys were like, "That's pretty good." And like, I don't know if you guys seen it, but like, there's like video clips where it's like usually like gaming and stuff, where it's like Trump and Biden and Obama and like a bunch of people, and it's like all these boys, and they're freaking hilarious. Like,
like a Discord chat with gaming.
yeah, it's like someone's recording the Discord chat and they're all playing a game or something. It's hilarious. That's kind of what I was going for. You know, hey, fellow kids, marketing. That's seriously what I feel like at this point. All right. Sorry. All right. So, the BM Pen 3 says, "What's the better, EasyBoard V2 or the Lite?" The V2. It's got a higher number. Okay. In all seriousness, though, the V1 and the V2 are both very capable boards. So if you have a V1, unless you just have money you want to light on fire and, you know, send our way, go ahead. But the V1 is still a very capable board. We're still doing updates to it. From now until, I don't know, I decided to stop, which I don't have a plan to. The only drawback to the older board is we're not going to be adding new printer models to it. But in terms of the V1 and the V2 board, like, we overspec the hell out of the V1 board and we overspec the hell out of the V2 board. The V2 board is technically on paper faster, but for most people, if you had a V1 and V2 board, I probably couldn't even tell the difference between a printer running a V1 or V2. So if you have a V1, or you can get a good deal on a V1, maybe buying a used one, they're still really great boards. If you have a V2, or if you want to get a V2 and you don't already have one, get a V2. We have those in stock. So, yeah, Jimmy said those are great. I've seen the video game ones are funny. Yeah, that's what gave me the idea. But yeah, it's funny. So, yeah. All right. So, anyways, the next question is from SW. What are your thoughts on the 5-door Big Tree Tech Manta E3Es? Jesus Christ, can they think of better model names?
The Manta
E3 Easy V1. Like, I haven't seen them. I haven't used their easy drivers, but in general, like, Big Tree Tech is known for making cheap boards. They're not known for making boards that last. They're not known for customer service. That's
quantity, not quality.
Yeah, I do have, like I said, we're like, let me put it this way. People come to us, which is a competitor to Big Tree Tech, to make firmware for their boards because their own technical support doesn't properly support their own products. So, Big Tree Tech is, you know, if you get a good board, let's assume you get a good board from them. If you're somebody that's very technical and can get the board working and you're comfortable working the software, like, they do provide a good value. The problem is, how long is the board going to last? And if you need to get a warranty, how hard is it going to be to get a warranty? Like, for example, I've bought multiple Big Tree Tech boards. I literally bought this one here that we're doing firmware for. I own their version 1, 1.2, 2.0, and 3.0 of their SKR E3 Mini V3s. Every single board but the E3 Mini V3 has had issues like 5-volt rail instabilities, premature failures, like whatever, like just things not working correctly. Like if you go through their Facebook group, you'll see many people posting that they're on multiple boards, like their second board, the third board. Like there was one that I saw a few months ago where this guy had like 8 boards that failed over 6 months. Like I'm sure some of those are people that just don't know what the hell they're doing and breaking things, but yeah. I would stay away with it. If you're looking for a more budget-oriented board, MKS is a brand that I will always recommend, unless they go downhill. And saying that too, if Big Tree Tech gets their quality up, maybe we can revisit carrying them and doing more stuff with them. But right now, it's not a brand I can recommend just because I don't want to recommend stuff to you guys that I've personally had a lot of issues with. I know people have a lot of issues with in terms of reliability. I think Pulo from our Discord server is like the one person who has had good experiences consistently with Big Tree Tech, whereas everybody else has kind of gotten like a 50% failure rate on their boards. So anyways, we are a little over. I'm going to see if there's any quick questions here. I do see Mark is asking about the AI generator app. It's called 11labs.io. Pab TV, PETG FlexPlate advice. Put down something between the PETG and the FlexPlate. PETG in general will bond to printing surfaces. So the only thing it will not bond easily to is just bare metal. PETG will bond to glass. PETG will bond to PEI, polycarbonate sheets like our Easy Mat or Build Tack. It is a very aggressive material in terms of it bonding to surfaces. So putting on something like glue stick, hairspray, Vision Miner. So
Vision Miner works extremely well.
Yeah, because Vision Miner not only works for adhesion, but it also works to help the part release when the bed cools down as well. So, anyways, let's see if there's any other questions. 3 experiments. Yeah, I see 2 people asking about Vision Miner and PEI and glass. I think we already answered that, but Vision Miner works on all your print surfaces.
I think actually, like they print Peak and Ultra and everything on glass.
Do they?
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it. So
like I know I see them like they'll post videos occasionally of them taking parts off of the glass beds. Like for that stuff, they actually have to take it off while it's still hot. So like they have gloves on, they have to take it off.
Oh, because that shit's hot as hell. Like
yeah.
those bed temps are 100 plus C. I mean, like I can barely even touch the plates when they're at 100. I mean, it's boiling.
Yeah.
So,
what was it, like 160 or something?
Yeah, it goes up.
That goes up too. So yeah.
That's
they
really
take the
freaking
parts
hot.
off when it's hot. So like the glass is still hot. They take the glass off and they
Like 160, you could almost melt PLA on that bed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll get it real soft. Like PLA starts to get soft around 60 to 70. So I'm seeing if there's any other quick ones. Let's see. Jose said, "Hey guys, I want to start a mini farm. I'm between the Ender 3 S1 Pro and Ender 5 S1. Which series could be more reliable and provide a better workflow?" So I have not used the Ender 5 S1. I do have the Ender 3 S1. I think the Ender 3 S1, if you can get it for around the $300 price point, is a good buy. I have not messed with the S1. I don't know if anybody wants to chime in if they have the Ender 5 S1. I don't have that printer, so I'm not going to give an opinion on a printer I haven't used. So I can tell you my Ender 3 S1 has been a pretty good printer. My main complaint with that printer was, one, it doesn't come with a Meanwell power supply for the price. I think I paid almost $500 for mine, and I thought that was way too expensive for what it was. Around the $300 price point for a regular Ender 3 S1, I think would be a good bang for the buck. The S1 Pro, the downside of that is you're going to get a touchscreen. The touchscreen is kind of a pain in the ass once you want to start upgrading it and modifying it. Also just general usability in terms of tuning it. Whereas I would probably go with the Ender 3 S1, not the S1 Pro. So the S1 Pro versus S1, the S1 Pro comes with a all-metal heat break and a high-temp thermistor, whereas the S1 comes with just a normal PTFE heat break and a normal thermistor that goes up to like 300. But the S1 non-Pro comes with a 128/64 screen. Does it? Wait, I might be thinking. No, it doesn't come with a 128/64 screen. That comes with the one with the little rotary knob, which those are better than the touchscreens. The touchscreens, if you basically want to start doing stuff with firmware right now, the touchscreens from Creality and many other manufacturers, you are very limited on what you can do because of the limited supports, and those run their own operating system and everything. So like trying to get things customized, like, hey, I want to tune my acceleration and jerk. Good luck doing that. It's not an option. So, but yeah, So I think that's going to be it. It's we're at 5:11. We try to keep these around an hour. So if I didn't answer your guys' questions, we do these again at 4 p.m. Central every Wednesday. We also have our Discord server, so if you guys want to hang out, meet other people in the 3D printing community, make some friends, get some help, talk about printers, show off prints, etc. Go to discord.th3dstudio.com. Do you have a website for your laser stuff?
It's currently under construction. I was actually working on it yesterday when I
Were
was
you?
flying. I was flying and I was working on the website. It should be up, honestly. Just have to take some product pictures and like make sure my homepage looks good. But AlaskaLaserEngraving.com or Facebook Alaska Laser Engraving.
Alaska. Where are you based out of?
Eielson Air Force Base, Alaska.
I was being sarcastic. I should have been. What state are you guys out of?
Where's Alaska?
Is that like over by California? Like, I mean, I guess technically, it's by New York, right?
Yes.
That's the one that's like all the little islands, right?
No, I think that's Florida.
I think you might be right. Okay. So anyways, I hope you guys all have an awesome week. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys want to catch us again, we do these every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. So with that, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you guys learned something. And as always, happy printing. I will see you guys on the next video. Take it easy. And thanks again for Tyler for being on the live stream. It was fun.
Thanks.
Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye now.